Last year for St. Patrick's Day, we made an incredible beef and Guinness stew, which was really good. But this year I got something better. So this year I got a beautiful lamb stew for you. It's a rich and hearty lamb stew made from the shoulder of the lamb. Got some nice root vegetables to go with it, and we're going to serve it up with a Irish traditional favorite called Colcannon. This is mashed potatoes with some sauteed leeks and kale all brought together, and we're going to put it under the broiler until it turns golden brown. This recipe is awesome, and it's going to be happening right now on the Aimless Cook.
Trust me, you won't like the potato skin.
Now while the kids are prepping the veg, I'm going to start with a heavy bottom Dutch oven or a cast iron skillet, or you can use both if you like to, save some time. And what we're going to do is we're just going to use on high heat with a couple tablespoons of oil, and we're going to add our lamb in a single layer. Now I got 2 pounds of lamb shoulder, which has been cubed, and working in small batches, I'm just going to sear the lamb until golden brown on both sides, and then I'm going to set it aside. Meanwhile, while that lamb is searing, I got about 3 large yellow potatoes here that I've cut into rough chunks, or that Josh has cut into rough chunks. And he's going to put it into a medium saucepan, and then we're going to put it on the stove, cover with water, and then we're just going to boil until fork tender. So back to our stew here. I got all this wonderful produce here from King's Orchard at the farmer's market. And I'm going to start with these 4 large carrots that I'm just going to roll cut here. And with that, I got 2 large leeks, of which I'm just going to chop the whites. And we're just going to keep those aside for a minute, and I just want you to look at this. See that? That's the fond that we were just rendering off of that meat. Now it's there for a reason. That is pure flavor, my friends, and what we're going to do is we're going to add 1 large onion that I've cut into wedges, and I'm just going to stir that around on medium heat while it sweats out. Now in a few minutes your onions are going to look like this. They're starting to look translucent, and at this point what we're going to do is we're going to add the rest of those vegetables back in the pot. And when we do that, we're just going to stir it around, give it a few minutes just to give them a head start, and then we're going to deglaze the pan with about 1 liter of chicken stock. From here, I'm just going to give it a good stir so I get all that fond from the bottom of the pot. And once I get all those flavors freed from the bottom of the pot, I'm going to turn my heat back up to maximum. And then I'm going to add a sprig of rosemary, some thyme, and lastly, I'm going to add the lamb on top. So when this whole thing comes to a boil again, I'm just going to turn it down to medium, and I'm just going to let it simmer uncovered until the sauce is thickened and the carrots are done. Okay, so let's go back to our Colcannon. When our potatoes are done and fork tender, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to strain them, and then I'm going to put them back in the pot and toss them over the heat still until they turn fluffy. This is just to get rid of the extra moisture. Now put those potatoes in a large mixing bowl and set aside. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with 100 grams of kale that I've torn up into small pieces, as well as 2 more of those chopped leeks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to saute them really quickly in about 1/4 cup of unsalted butter in a pan. And I'm just going to cook them over medium heat, stirring frequently until all of those vegetables are wilted, and then I'm going to set them aside. Okay, now back to my potatoes. I'm going to mash them really well, and to that I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of butter as well as 2 egg yolks. Now the reason I'm putting the egg yolks in is easy, because we're going to put them under the broiler and it's going to give us an incredible golden color you're not going to believe. So when my potatoes are finally smooth, I'm just going to add my vegetables back into the mix, and I'm going to combine everything until well blended, and then I'm just going to give it a last season with salt and pepper. And then I'm going to grab a big scoop and put it on a baking tray, and I'm going to put it under the broiler until golden brown. Now check it out. Now what I tell you about using the egg yolks in the potatoes, didn't they turn out brilliant? So what we're going to do is we're just going to ladle on some of that stew. Now make sure you give it a last taste and season with salt and pepper. And that's all there is to it. We're just going to ladle that on, and then we're going to garnish with a little bit of parsley, and that will be it. So that is it. That is our lamb stew with Colcannon. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you take it, make it yours, and have fun in the kitchen, which brings me to my question of the day. What is your carb of choice? Are you a meat and potatoes kind of person? Do you like rice or noodles? Let me know in the comments down below, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Ingredients for today's episode were provided by Kingsland Farmers Market.